JD Vance does not do a lot in this Trump administration. Of course, he whines, he complains, he attacked President Zelensky for not saying thank you enough because JD is pathetic. But there's a reason that he is always hiding behind his phone screen, sending weird tweets, or really just kind of cowering behind Donald Trump. It's because he knows how people feel about him. And that was made incredibly clear when he was out and about in public and was confronted to his face in a clip that went super viral. It's very therapeutic to watch, so I'm excited to check it out. But before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video, and if you haven't already and you enjoy our channel, to hit that subscribe button. It goes a long way, and it really does mean a lot to me. And before we're going to get into that JD clip, he also did an interview with Laura Ingraham last night that I think is only fair to break down in the context of all this. So let's take a look at this clip right here.
It looks like the president might slap some retaliatory tariffs on Europe. Europe came back to us and said, oh, no, we're gonna hit your whiskey. Trump then says, we're gonna up you. It's like a game of chicken here, trade chicken. 200% on champagnes and wines to France. Now that will destroy the French winemaking business, but they've been really tough on our winemaking industry for years.
Well, that's exactly the point. Look, Europe doesn't have the cards here. As President Trump likes to say, when you have actually penalized American companies and American workers, as the EU has for years, we're actually fighting back for the first time. But Laura, we have a $1 trillion trade deficit. We absorb
largest
all
ever.
Of the terrible economic policies from all over the world, and the world expects American consumers to foot the bill for their workers and their businesses, and Donald Trump is flipping that on its head. We are not.
JD is just such a blatant liar, and he really doesn't seem to care that only a few short months ago, actually they felt like long months, all he wanted to talk about was the price of eggs. I remember that really viral clip of JD Vance saying, you know, under the Kamala Harris economy, eggs, they'll go for $6. It'll cost you a dozen eggs. And like you had the little sign behind him, it was like eggs, $2.95. And now that egg prices actually are $6, $7, $8, $9, $10 a dozen, nothing from JD, as Donald Trump tanks the market, creates huge job losses, allows prices to spike because of his tariffs, doesn't seem to care about these values he had, about these positions he cared so much about. Oh, JD Vance changed his mind to suit his political objectives. What a shocker that is. And it's not the only example. Take a listen to what he had to say right here.
There's controversy over the decision to try to deport that former Columbia student, Mahmoud Khalil, over national security concerns that were determined to be in place by Marco Rubio. Are you at all worried that a future Democrat administration would use that same provision to try to deport conservative students studying here in the United States?
Well, if it was an American citizen, it would be a different conversation. If a Democrat tried to do that to an American citizen, of course,
talking about green card
that would be a problem. But Laura, a green card holder, even if I might like that green card holder, doesn't have an indefinite right to be in the United States of America, right? American citizens have different rights from people who have green cards, from people who have student visas. And so my attitude on this is, this is not fundamentally about free speech. And to me, yes, it's about national security, but it's also more importantly about who do we, as an American public, decide gets to join our national community?
As a Columbia student myself, who received an email last night around midnight that ICE had been allowed to raid our campus and then our dorms, in our dorm rooms, where I'm doing this right now, I feel a particular way about JD Vance deciding that, I don't really care about free speech anymore. No, you can feel however you do about the speech on my campus. Either side. But what you can't feel is that people who are afforded constitutional rights can have them ripped away on Donald Trump and JD Vance's whims. You cannot feel that way. That is un-American. It is wrong, and the ideas that they are espousing are illegal. What a shock that is. Just a bunch of liars, like we saw right here.
As the president has said, a recognition that we have to accept, which is that, look, Joe Biden left this economy in a disaster.
Really? Biden left you a disastrous economy? By what metric? In what form? You think prices were too high? Well, they're higher now. So what does that say about your economy? You thought the market wasn't doing well enough? Well, it's tanked. So what does that say about the market today? Jobs weren't bringing in enough? Well, the numbers keep dwindling. Seems like maybe you're screwing up. And that's why people have some thoughts for you, JD.
Kill that light!
Oh, so sweet. Mwah. So sweet, 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 sweet to see JD get a little boo. Get a little boo going. It's nice, isn't it? It's therapeutic. I'm glad he cannot go anywhere without hearing from us. Republicans won't do town halls, so when they go to plays, let's have our voice heard a little bit. I like that. Thank you to whoever recorded that, and thank you to all the boos. I'm sure they don't need a thank you. They probably just felt really good saying it. But yeah, this is the reality of things. This is how people actually feel, JD, if you cared to listen. But seems like his boss kind of is. I think Trump understands things are falling apart around him, and Chris Hayes did a great job breaking down why I feel that way. A clip right here.
Good evening from New York. I'm Chris Hayes. Today, the President of the United States, the man with the nuclear codes, is angry and emotional and acting, frankly, erratically. And that is not my judgment. It's basically what his own cabinet defenders are saying.
The president was totally annoyed that the Europeans did this, and so you're going to hear back from someone who emotionally cares about America. And why are Europeans picking on Kentucky bourbon
Secretary
or
Lutnick,
Harley-Davidson motorcycles?
Are you saying this is an emotional response?
It's disrespectful. He wants these countries to respect him, and all of this showed you is that Europe and Canada do not respect Donald Trump. You know, if you make him unhappy, he responds unhappy.
I mean, points for honesty. He was totally annoyed. That's the economic rationale. That was Commerce Secretary and Trump whisperer Howard Lutnick explaining how the president is just completely shocked that the trade war he launched out of nowhere for no reason against America's closest allies, Canada and the European Union, is suddenly blowing up in his face and threatening to tank the U.S. economy. You might have seen today stocks continued their impressively downward fall amid fears of higher prices from Trump's tariffs and threats and the air of uncertainty that hangs over everything. The S&P 500 fell below 10%, below its all-time high, raising concerns among investors. A sell-off might be happening soon, although it looks like it's already happening. This NASDAQ is already in that worrying territory. The Dow Jones was on track for its worst week since that string of high-profile bank failures in 2023. Again, all of this is happening not because banks failed or Russia invaded Ukraine or some huge macroeconomic structural thing happened. No, it's happening for literally no reason whatsoever other than Trump picking a fight with our neighbors and our neighbors fighting back. And Trump is big mad about it, throwing out new threats of massive tariffs and annexation of foreign territories in a vicious cycle of escalation. Yesterday, Canada and the EU responded to Trump's tariffs by imposing new taxes on U.S. exports, including on signature American products like whiskey and motorcycles. When Trump heard about that retaliation, he basically lost it, made this totally unhinged social media post in the middle of the night, quote, "The European Union, one of the most hostile and abusive taxing and tariffing authorities in the world, which has formed for the sole purpose of taking advantage of the United States, has just put a nasty 50% tariff on whiskey. If this tariff is not removed immediately, the U.S. will shortly place a 200% tariff on all wine, champagnes, alcoholic products coming out of France and other EU-represented countries. This will be great for the wine and champagne businesses in the U.S." That was at 8 a.m., I should know. Now, the U.S. does not technically have any champagne businesses. We are the biggest market for champagne, many other French wines. Trump is threatening a tax at such a high level, the price of a bottle of wine would essentially double, again, for Americans. right? Americans are going to pay that. Everybody who understands trade understands this is insane. I think even people who don't understand trade understand this is insane. It was a point that even Emma Tucker, the editor of the very right-wing Wall Street Journal, made this morning.
That mood has shifted pretty much since all the tariffs started coming in. I think businesses realize now Trump is serious about this. But the problem they've got is that they're being imposed in a very haphazard way, and that's creating so much instability.
When a company has to pay more for its input, will they typically pass it on to the consumer, do you think?
I think eventually they're going to have to.
Yeah.
He has to know at this point, right? Donald Trump watches TV. Donald Trump loves Fox, and even the Fox propaganda outlet is kind of breaking the harsh news to him lately, that people do not like his economic agenda. The best issue for Donald Trump with voters is always the economy. Now, that's not to say he was successful. We know that is not the case, but that is where he had the most esteemed perception. That has, in an instant, evaporated. He's got nothing to lean on. So he's going to try to distract us. It's not going to work. You really can't distract with buying Greenland or Canada when people are facing the reality of the failures of your presidency every single day, when they check their 401k, when they're worried about their Social Security, when they go to the grocery store or the gas pump. He's a failure. And Governor Andy Beshear made that point right here.
They're struggling just to survive. Many of them voted for Donald Trump because they thought they'd struggle just a little bit less. But right now, everything that they need to make their goods or everything that they sell is costing more. And because everything is costing more, because of these on-again, off-again, on-again, off-again tariffs, the people that would buy these products have less money. It's hurting all business. I mean, overall, it's hurt the stock market. You see consumer confidence going down. I mean, put simply, Donald Trump is tanking an economy that was on the rise. But listen, if he's Thelma or Louise, he can pump those brakes. And that's exactly what we need him to do. And it's going to take the American people speaking out, picking up their own phones, recording how much the prices are changing at the grocery store and the pump, and demanding better. That's how I think we get the attention that we need.
I love Andy Beshear. I just need to say that real quick. I tweeted last night, this is someone I want to see on Fox more. Governor of Kentucky, Democratic governor of Kentucky, get this man on Fox. What a messenger. Drive it home. He is a failure. The national level, sure. But in your communities, you're starting to see it. In your communities. Let's make that message clear. We're going to on this show every single day. And if you want to support that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button. You can leave a like on this video. And if you stuck around to the end, you can drop a blue heart in the comments. And until next time, I'll see you soon.